Hi guys, we're just going to walk through kind of your quiz. So hopefully you're listening, hopefully you're paying attention, and then when you take this quiz, it'll be easy peasy. I'm going to start you with a conditional, and I'm going to pause so it speeds this process up for you. Okay, couple things. First of all, if we're looking at, well, let's just look at number 9 right here. It says, identify the hypothesis and conclusion. And it says, if the traffic light is red, then you must stop. A hypothesis is always the if portion, but it does not include the if. So make sure you're not putting that if along with it. So your hypothesis would be the traffic light is red. And then your conclusion does not include the then portion. So you would just say you must stop. So if you look at number 10, hypothesis in blue, no if, sorry, I went a little farther. Conclusion, sorry, I thought I changed to red, but conclusion would be the x squared is greater than 25. Okay, then we're going to talk counterexamples. And if you look at 6 through 8 there, that's what you were supposed to be doing on those. Sorry. So to find a counterexample to something, you're just looking for a situation where if you made it an if-then statement, the then portion, the conclusion portion, would be false, okay? So for instance, 3 coplanar lines always make a triangle. Basically, you're saying if 3 lines are coplanar, then they will make a triangle. Well, if this is my plane, I could have 3 parallel lines on that plane, and that does not make a triangle, so this would be my counterexample. Or all balls are spheres. Basically, that's saying if something is a ball, then it is a sphere. Can you think of a counterexample to that? I can think of, and you don't have to draw it, you could just say football. Does that look like a football? Kind of? Not great. But a football would be a counterexample to that, okay? All right, a little recap on good definitions. We said they must use clearly understood terms. They need to be precise, so you don't want to use things like large or sort of or almost. And they should be reversible. In other words, you should be able to write a biconditional if something is a good definition. So look at that first one. Grass is green. That is not a good definition, because if you were to say if something is green, then it is grass, that's not true, right? You can't reverse that. Most grass is green, but sometimes grass is yellow because it's dying. So there's lots of reasons why it is not a good definition. If it's not a good definition, you should be able to give me a counterexample. So one counterexample to this, would be yellow grass, right? Grass that's kind of on its way out is maybe yellow instead of green. Whereas if you look at D down here, it says a yard is a unit of measure exactly 3 feet long. Exactly, that's a good word for a definition, because then you know you're being precise, okay? And there is no other unit of measure that I'm aware of that is exactly 3 feet long. So if something is a yard, then it is exactly 3 feet long. If something is exactly 3 feet long, then it is a yard in length. Both of those are good conditional statements, so we would say that is a good definition. So if it's a good definition, great. All you need to tell me is good definition. If it's not, you should be able to give me a counterexample. Okay, a little on law of detachment. This number 20 here, it says people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. I'm going to make it even simpler than that on the quiz and give you an if-then statement. So if people live in glass houses, so we'll say, I'm just going to write that in here so you see how it's going to look. If people live in glass houses, then they should not throw stones. And it says Emily should not throw stones. Your job is to use the law of detachment to say, is that a good statement? If so, what conclusion can you make? And if it's not, you say not possible to make a conclusion. Keep in mind with law of detachment, your hypothesis has to be told back to you. So it's the whole if P then Q. If I tell you P is true, then your conclusion is that Q is true also. because it's saying if this, then it must be this. Well, this is true, so therefore Q is true also. Whereas if I say if P then Q, and I tell you that Q is true, you have to say not possible, because it could be any other reason that's making Q, sorry, it's not writing well, that is making Q true. So if you look at number 20, if people live in glass houses, then they should not throw stones. And it says Emily should not throw stones. So this is your conclusion, and they gave you back the conclusion. So this is if P then Q, and they told you Q was true. You need to say for this one, not possible. Emily shouldn't throw stones because she might hurt someone, right? It's not just because people live in glass houses. So that one would be not possible. If you look at the next one, it says if a student wants to be a chemical engineer, okay, so that's your hypothesis, then that student must graduate from college. So this is your P, this is your Q, and it tells you James wants to be a chemical engineer. Well, that was the P portion, right? So I told you if P then Q, and I told you that the P portion, the hypothesis, was true. Well, if the hypothesis is true, then the conclusion is true as well. So you would say James must graduate from college, okay? So if this is going to happen, then the conclusion portion is going to be true. So in this case, because James wants to be a chemical engineer, then James must graduate from college, okay? Okay, so law of syllogism, sorry for the ugly writing, is where you say if P then Q. I don't know why, I have new pens coming today. Sorry, I don't know why this pen hates me so much right now. If P then Q, if Q then R is the statements you're given, then you can take out the two that are the same and say if P, then R, okay? So if your father buys new gardening gloves, that would be your P, then he will work in his garden. That would be your Q. If he works in his garden, that's your Q, then he will plant tomatoes. That's your R. So the two that are identical, the two that are saying the same thing, they might not be identically worded, but that are saying the same thing, then he will work in his garden, and if he works in his garden would come out, and what you're left with is if your father buys new gardening gloves, then he will plant tomatoes. So that's what you would write for your conclusion. If your father buys new gardening gloves, then he will plant tomatoes. Okay, we're going to do the whole conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive thing and determine the truth value there. So we're going to start with this statement. If an integer ends with 0, then it is divisible by 2. That's going to be our conditional statement. Okay, so that's our starting point. That is, we got to determine the truth value. If it ends with 0, it's divisible by 2. That is a true statement, okay? The converse of that, think about what the converse does. The converse just takes your if P then Q, right? Your conditional was if P then Q. Your converse then is if Q then P. So you're just switching the order. So if an integer, right, because we're still talking about an integer, is divisible by 2, then it ends with 0. Okay, true or false? If an integer is divisible by 2, then it ends with 0. That is false, right? And then you're going to have to give a counter example. And your counter example, in this case, would be 6, for instance, right? 6 is divisible by 2, but it doesn't end in 0, okay? Your inverse you should know right off the bat, your inverse is going to be false because your converse was false, and those are the two that have to have the same truth value. And your inverse is just the negation of your original conditional. So it's if not P, then not Q. So we would say if an integer doesn't end with 0, then it's not divisible by 2. Okay, so again, a counterexample to that could be the number 6 again, or you can pick a different counterexample, but that would be a counterexample. And then the contrapositive, got to think, is that going to be true or false? Oh, this pen is terrible. I'm so sorry, you guys. If your conditional statement was true, remember the contrapositive has the same truth value, so this is going to be true also. And the contrapositive, instead of being if not P, then not Q, you take the converse of that. If not Q, then not P. So my contrapositive would say, if an integer isn't divisible by 2, then it doesn't end with 0. Okay. Other than that, you're going to have to find a pattern. I'm not going to do any of those right now because every pattern's different, but you're just looking for what is the pattern and what are the next two terms that you see. So are you adding, are you subtracting, are you multiplying, are you dividing, are you doing two of those things? What is the pattern? And then if I give you a statement, you're going to have to determine if it's reversible. In other words, if you can make it a conditional and a converse. If both of those are true, then you can write a biconditional. Do you remember what a biconditional does? Biconditional is your if and only if. So if it's true both ways, you would write an IFF statement. Like, let me see if I can find a good example for you real quick. All right, here's one for you. If a figure is a circle with radius r, then its circumference is 2 pi r. If you reverse that, if a figure has a circumference of 2 pi r, then the figure is a circle with radius r. Both of those are true, so you take out the if. I need a pen, sorry. Okay, take out the if, take out the then, put in an if and only if. So a figure is a circle with radius r, if and only if its circumference is 2 pi r. If it's something that is not reversible, like go back to this example, if an integer ends with 0, then it's divisible by 2. The converse is if an integer is divisible by 2, then it ends with 0. That is not reversible, right? That converse was false. So then you just say not possible to write a biconditional. Okay, so if it is possible, write it out with the if and only if. If it's not, you say not possible. That is your quiz. Good luck. Just relax, focus. You will all do great.